everyone, welcome to a reading where we will be looking at your person's energy, thoughts, feelings, etc. So this is a romantic or love-based reading. You may be with this person or not with this person, but either way we're going to be doing a bit of a check-in on their thoughts and feelings, but we're going to start with their energy, their focus / priority, then we're going to go into what they're thinking and feeling about you. Then we're going to go into their plans and intentions going forward. We'll mention the zodiac signs appearing in each of the groups, and we'll finish off with a channeled message from their higher self. So these are the three groups to choose from today. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. So take your time to choose your pile, and when you have selected which group you're being pulled into or drawn towards, I'll see you over in your reading. Hello group 1, welcome to your reading. So this is a reading to do a check-in on the person on your mind, so it's a love-based reading. And this is the card that you chose for the pile selection part of the reading. And the first thing I want to just quickly talk about is I had to restart the intro for this one, because as soon as I started to talk about this reading for you guys, I started clearing a lot of energy. So I was like pausing, because I kind of had they were kind of hiccups, but I was kind of just clearing a lot of energies. So it kind of feels like potentially maybe this person is having to clear a lot of energy at the moment, like maybe they've got quite a bit going on, or their energy is quite sort of chaotic or out of alignment, and they're needing to clear a lot of energy. So either that's what they're actively trying to do, or that's what they need to do. But there was a lot of energy clearing. So I feel like that's our first message already. But the first thing we're going to do, we're going to leave that to the end, because that's their higher self message for you. We're also going to put those to the side for now. We're going to just start with a quick look at their energy. So I've pulled from 3 different decks to try to build a kind of picture of what their energy is right now. For you guys, we have fire. We have suffering in silence. And we have the One of Roses in reverse, which is a commitment card, but in the reverse position. Alright, so these 3 cards all together. Okay, yeah, so this definitely relates even more than I can. It's kind of interesting seeing these visuals now that I had the clearing energy part at the beginning of the reading. If you look here, it kind of looks like all this fire is kind of coming out of her torso region, and that's where I felt all the energy clearing within me. And it kind of felt like indigestion or heartburn. And I was doing mini burps and mini hiccups, a whole heap, probably 15 in a row. That's why I had to start again. Probably TMI for some people, but it just makes me laugh now looking at these cards. So I think that this person, on an inner level, that is definitely their energy. It's burning up. There's a lot of energy within them. It's very chaotic, and they're trying to find outlets for this energy. But instead of more positive outlets, it feels like they're trying to avoid what's really happening within them, and they're channeling that energy into things that maybe things that get their adrenaline going, like thrill seeking or being a little bit reckless. Fire to me is a very sort of external, outward energy, because it's a very or maybe I'm just thinking more about like the solar plexus. And because we have a sun here, it's kind of reminding me of the solar plexus too, but it just feels like they're in a very external energy, but it's because they're trying to avoid something happening within them. And whatever is at the root of this, it causes a fear of commitment. So it feels like they've probably turned away or pulled back or withdrawn because this fear of commitment has kind of been triggered, and all the energy at the root of this fear is now like within them, needing a healthy outlet, needing to be addressed and faced and cleared, but they're kind of in this avoidant energy where they're not really reflecting or looking at it too deeply. If anything, I feel like they're probably being a little bit reckless, going out a lot, doing a lot, keeping really active, keeping really busy, and trying to avoid their pain, not talk about their pain, but not even address it within themselves. So I don't think they're talking to anyone about it, and I also don't think that they're facing it internally either. So definitely in like an avoidant energy. Not willing to kind of acknowledge this fear or get to the root of it. All right, so these little astro cards are, the intention behind these is to get like their focus and their priority at the moment, either on a 3D level, or maybe we'll just have to kind of see what comes through. But you guys got 4 cards. We've got the 12th house. It says karma, shadow, secrets. We've got Saturn, discipline, obstacles, boundaries. The moon, emotions, instincts, subconscious. And we have square, competition, tension, disharmony. Yep, so that makes a lot of sense to me. So this may not be on like a conscious level. This might be more like their higher self saying like, this is the bigger picture here, or this is what's going on. And what it looks like to me is they could definitely be going through like a Saturn return, which I think is like between the ages of like 27, 28 to like 30 something. I can't fully remember. But like 12th house is like the last of the houses. So like is like going around in a full circle. And then with Saturn, it's like Saturn's done like a full, what's it called? Orbit? No. I don't know what the right word is. I'm going nuts over here. But like Saturn's return to the point it was where this person was born, and it's done like a full return in their chart. And when that happens, we go through major tests. We go through, we can often experience the same themes that we dealt with in the last Saturn return, because I think it's like, it could be like every 9 years or something. Saturn takes a while to do a full circle in our charts, but when it does happen, it's a very challenging period in our life. It's meant to teach us discipline. It's meant to teach us healthy boundaries, but it comes with a lot of obstacles. It definitely triggers our shadow side, and any karma that we haven't dealt with or faced, or any secrets that we've been avoiding within ourselves or even in reality. It highlights where we're in disharmony. It highlights where we're kind of at odds with ourselves or our emotions and our subconscious. Like all of these things are really highlighted in a Saturn return. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys, or if your person's at an age of like a Saturn return, and this is what they're like at the moment. They're in this avoidant period, but it doesn't look like they're going to be in that avoidant period forever. It looks like this is going to be a time that really tests them. I think it's going to give them a chance to free themselves of some karma or to like clear some karma, but it also has the potential for them to repeat some karma as well, because it is a conscious choice to face, you know, what's inside of us and what we've been avoiding. We have to choose to do that. So if they continue to avoid it and not face it, then they're going to enter the same kind of cycles and probably be the same way for quite a long time. But then if they step up to the challenge and then they overcome all of these challenges and they're willing to look inside themselves, then they could go through a real transformation. So yeah, I definitely feel like they're at odds with their emotions and their subconscious at the moment, and it's just putting them into this like avoidant energy where they're just like running from any emotions, any fears, and just trying to focus on things that make them feel excited and happy, fiery. It's almost like a thrill-seeking, adrenaline-seeking, excitement-seeking energy. It's probably to like sort of counter what's going on within them. Alright, so let's move forwards then and go into what they're thinking and feeling about you. And we're going to try and set the intention to read this on like a more 3D level. So rather than their higher self's point of view, I kind of want to make this more reality based, so that we're not looking and judging based on potential, but what's really happening. Alright, so the person on Group 1's mind, what are they currently thinking and feeling about Group 1? On a more 3D based earthly level. Okay, so we've got the Hermit in reverse, and we've got the High Priestess also in reverse. Alright, so the Hermit in reverse is kind of making me think yeah, and then with the High Priestess in reverse too, this is like, sometimes when the Hermit's in reverse, you know, I can interpret that as sort of coming out of Hermit mode, but in this case with these two in reverse, this is almost like they're in a retreat mode, but it's not like they've consciously chosen to go into that mode in order to better themselves. It's more like their fear and their subconscious has forced them to withdraw and retreat to avoid whatever's happening inside them. So they're really, again, they're in this avoidant energy, like something's been triggered in their subconscious or in their emotions, and they're like, holy crap, and they're just in like flight basically. If they were both in the upright, I would be like, they've willingly withdrawn so that they can do some inner work, some subconscious work, face their fears, overcome them, learn the lessons, integrate the lessons, and learn the wisdom. But in this energy, it's like they're triggered and they have shut down. I feel like they're in like an overly analytical energy where they're not really able to listen to their intuition or their feelings. And it's like fear-based thoughts. And sort of more shadow-based thoughts, not just like fear-based thoughts, but like fears triggered by their shadow. We have the Empress in reverse, so the Empress is making me think of like someone who feels like it's like they're unable to receive love. And if I kind of extend on that, sometimes that can happen when someone's got like a mother wound or a parent wound where they didn't receive that unconditional love, and then kind of as that they've carried with that through, as they've carried that with them through life, receiving that kind of love is a real challenge. And I feel like they close down and shut themselves off instead of just opening themselves up and having trust and faith to receive that love. So if you were like really caring, really loving, and that's not something that they've had before, or something that they're not used to, or maybe the last person that was like that with them really hurt them, it's like this has triggered them to sort of shut down, and they've like put a wall up to not receive that love. Alright, so I do feel like now we're sort of talking more about you. So this is kind of like them, what they're thinking or what they're going through or feeling, but then this is more like about you personally. And the star makes me think that they feel as though, or they acknowledge that you have a very healing, soothing energy. Like you do have that kind of loving, compassionate heart and caring nature, which is exactly what they kind of like ran from or avoided. We have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse position. Yeah, that's what made them pump the brakes. Six of Wands reversed. They pumped the brakes and they didn't allow or seek to allow the potential to kind of unfold. We have the Ace of Swords underneath the deck. So the Ace of Swords kind of makes me think that they do feel like they hope to be able to, I guess, talk to you again at some point. And next we're going to be going into their plans and intentions going forward. So there is a part of them that hopes that, you know, this isn't it, that, you know, last time you spoke, it wasn't the last time. Like they do hope that they're going to have a chance to speak to you again. And with the Crown up there, it's like, hopefully next time it will get like the winning outcome that it deserves, or hopefully next time it will work. This time it didn't, but hopefully next time it does, type thing. So that definitely makes me want to move on into their plans and intentions going forwards. And then I'll touch on what zodiac signs are showing up for either you or them, and then we'll finish off with their little message from their higher self. So the person on group one's mind, what are their plans and intentions moving forward, please? This was the first one. So we have the Six of Water. Then we have the Five of Fire. And we have the Wheel. So the Six of Water will definitely indicate to me that they do hope to reconnect, or they plan to try to reconnect. But it feels like with the Five of Fire, they can acknowledge that they have some things to take care of first. Like it says here, conflicts, annoyances, competition. And we had competition up here as well. Like they just feel like they have a lot of competition, like within themselves. They feel as though like they're at odds with themselves and that there's a conflict within them. It's almost like part of them wants this and part of them just wants to run from it. So they can acknowledge that, yeah, I want to reconnect. I miss group one. I don't want this to be the end, but I've really got to take care of a few things so that I'm not constantly at odds with myself. And then we can move this forward properly. We can make progress. I can hopefully change the way things are right now. And they kind of just really hope that luck will be on their side when they do eventually communicate with you. We have the Queen of Earth here. And the Four of Air. And underneath the deck is the Ace of Water. So I think that they are hoping that you will be gracious and understanding, or perhaps they know that you are a gracious and understanding person, but they also acknowledge that you're quite an independent, capable person at the same time. And I think that best case scenario is that you hear them out, you understand what they've been doing, that they've just been kind of like healing, recovering from, what they've been dealing with, and that you'll just kind of graciously accept them back into your life in order to kind of like build that new beginning, build that new relationship, kind of like start fresh, and develop the connection. And funny that the Queen of Air was underneath that, because I was about to say, but they probably feel like you could just as easily, like, because of that independent and capable side of you, they probably just as easy feel like you could just cut them off or reject them or deny them. So they're hoping for the best, but they're acknowledging that you are a very capable, independent person who could just as easily bring that little dream crashing down. So that's what I'm seeing there. So let's talk about the signs that I can see in the reading. We've got some Virgo, we've got some Taurus, some Libra, some Aquarius, some Pisces, I always forget the wheel. Actually, the wheel might be like fixed signs. Or is that the world that I'm thinking of? Hold on a minute. I can quickly... Oh, I was right. It is the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. I should have just trusted my gut, hey. But yeah, I think that's all that I can see. And they could be the sun, moon, or rising sign of you or your person, or maybe both signs are appearing. But now let's finish off with the higher self message to you. So we intend to get a message from their higher self, or it could be even like your higher self, because the idea is to get helpful advice, a little short, sweet, helpful advice message. So your message is: let there be closeness between you, but always give each other space. Love never claims, it simply allows and gives. So this is definitely kind of resonating with how this left off, about how they hope that you'll be gracious and understanding and let them back in. And this is kind of like the advice coming from the higher selves too. So there is a benefit or a positive in allowing this person the space they need to do what they need to do. These are important lessons that they can learn from and then integrate and become a better being from. So I think that you're just being advised to, allow this person the space to do what they need to do. I can't see anything that you need to be concerned about. I don't think that they're out there, being mad disrespectful. I think that they're just looking for things that make them feel good, as opposed to facing the conflicting feelings that are going on inside them and the chaos that's inside them. So yeah, give them some space. And yeah, just let the situation unfold. So that's what I have for you, group 1. Don't forget to like the reading if you did enjoy it, as a small way to help my channel and help me come back with more readings. I will be back this week with a weekly guidance reading at some point as well. I'm going to try and start doing a weekly guidance pick a card. But yeah, until next time, guys, stay safe, sending love, light, and everything bright. Bye. Hi group 2, welcome to your reading where we're doing a check-in with the person on your mind. So this is a love-based reading, and this is the card that you would have selected for this group. So we're not going to reveal that one just yet. That will be the message from the higher self of your person, and is like a little bit of advice as well. So that'll be the last thing that we do in the reading. We're not going to go into those ones just yet either, but we're going to start here and we're going to get a picture of your person's energy. So we have number 8, the evens. It says mystery, reading between the lines, and intuition. We have spiritual strength, which is a number 9. And we have the 2 of keys, which is the treasure. Okay, so I feel like this person's going through some sort of spiritual test here, where they have the opportunity to really expand and evolve. And with the 2 of keys and this reading between the lines, I feel like they're in between worlds, like in between experiences right now. So I feel like the treasure can be a card of something's just gone wrong. So it can be like the loss of a job, loss of a relationship, some sort of loss, some sort of situation where, you know, poop has hit the fan. But it's actually an opportunity in disguise. So in terms of this person's energy, it feels as though there is some sort of loss or disruption going on in their life. They're being tested spiritually to see if they can sort of rise above and emotionally detach, and they're kind of trying to surrender to the mystery of what's happening next. I feel like they are going through some sort of like intuition expansion or intuition awakening, where, or maybe it's just like having to really rely on their intuition to move through this part of their journey. And I also feel like they could be coming across as a bit of a mystery because maybe they are internalizing a lot of what's going on and not being fully communicative about it. It's almost like, yeah, they're trying to figure it all out themselves and not show too much on the outside. Maybe they're the type of person that needs to sort of process and figure things out before they can actually talk about it. Because we even have someone here with like his hands over his mouth, so that's kind of indicating to me like I'm not talking. In this picture, he's kind of like, here he looks like there's no weight, but then in the bigger picture, he's like holding a lot of weight on his shoulders. So yeah, I think they've got a lot of weight on their shoulders. They're going through something, but they're not being very forthcoming about it. But they are trying to sort of just surrender to the mystery, follow their intuition, and trust that it's all for a greater good. So I do feel like this person has developed some amount of emotional, spiritual strength, but this is just sort of another test, I guess, for them in their journey. So that's what I'm getting for their current energy. And now looking into their current focus and priority, we've got Saturn, discipline, obstacles, boundaries. We have Pallas, wisdom, skill, self-defense. We have Jupiter with optimism, growth, opportunity. We have the South Node with past lives, natural gifts, karmic challenges. And underneath the deck we had 12th house with karma, shadow, and secrets. So a couple of similar cards to group 1, which does tell me that some of these energies or focuses are happening on like a collective level. For example, like it does look like this could be another reading referring to a Saturn return. So your person could be at an age where they're going through a Saturn return. But overall with this part, this looks like someone who has already developed some sort of, like I said, spiritual strength, because these tests that they are facing, I feel like we still have a lot of good cards in here. Like we have Pallas and Jupiter, which is almost like using, you know, your wisdom and your knowledge thus far. And by being optimistic, you can really recognize the opportunity to grow and elevate your life. So it's almost like kind of overcoming, freeing themselves from karma, being disciplined in how they overcome this part of their life, and just really, in a sense, like trying to remain positive and optimistic. And I also feel like there is something here about feel like this person's trying to create like meaning or purpose in their life, because with past lives, natural gifts, karmic challenges, karma, shadow secrets, it's almost like past life things coming back to this person to help them grow. So I see themselves trying to be disciplined and trying to have healthy boundaries in order to overcome their obstacles, trying to use the wisdom that they've learned in the past to help them get over what's going on at the present, trying to remain optimistic and positive and to see the opportunity that is in every sort of challenging situation, and really trying to overcome and grow, not repeat past mistakes. This is definitely someone who's really trying not to repeat the past, but trying to make better decisions, and trying to get through this with little to no karmic repercussions, and really try to just stay true to themselves, and maybe even create something out of their life that they, like with natural gifts, like something, you know, unique to them, like trying to figure out what their unique flavor is that they can bring to the world, if that makes sense. I think that that's heavily what they're kind of focusing on. So I would say this is someone who's at least spiritually aware. I'm not saying they have to be like fully evolved spiritual beings who meditate every day, but I think that they're at least spiritually aware, and they're in a stage of their life where they are trying to surrender to the mystery of what's next, whilst also trying to find and create meaningful moments, experiences, and things in their life. I definitely feel like they're not fully open about this stuff though, so I think that they keep a lot of their spirituality or their spiritual experiences a secret, and they don't reveal too much, probably because, like, if this person's a masculine energy, sometimes there's a stigma attached to this stuff and they tend to just like keep it all in and not talk about it. Or maybe this person is just if it's a feminine, they could just be a private person. Whatever the case, they don't talk about this too much. All right, so next we're going to go into what they're thinking and feeling about you. When I just glanced at the clock to make sure everything was in frame properly, it was 9:29 on the clock, and we have 9:2 here. So I just realized that, like, it's kind of a bit of a synchronicity there, and 9 and 2 is also 11, so maybe you're seeing 11 or 1111, or maybe you're literally seeing 929. But what is the person on group 2's minds, thoughts and feelings about group 2? And we're going to try and get this more on like a 3D level. So rather than going based off the potential from their higher self, we're going to try to look at like a 3D reality based level, because we want to go based off what's actually happening, not based on potential. Okay, so we have the Two of Wands. So that's kind of like that in between worlds message that I saw just before. With the 2, he's literally got a world in his hand too, so it's kind of bringing me back to that in between worlds message. I definitely think that they're looking ahead and trying to see what they can. It's also making me think like the world is your oyster. So in terms of what they're thinking and feeling, I know that we're trying to talk more about thinking and feeling about you, but I definitely think it's like, yes, you're in the back of their mind, but at the moment they're trying to figure out what am I here to do? What am I here to offer the world? What can I build or create in the world? Ace of Pentacles. So if I'm still talking about this card, the message that we're getting there, it's almost like you're always on their mind, in the back of their mind, and they know that you're solid. They know the commitment's a solid commitment or solid connection, or you're a solid person. But like they're focused on other things at the moment. And then also with the Ace of Pentacles, it could be they view you as a promising or valuable opportunity or person. Ace of Pentacles could also, like, you know, still focused on building something in the world, growing something in the world. Okay, so, all right, so although they're focused on other things and they're looking in this direction, in the back of their mind, so this is kind of like how they're saying it. So if I was channeling this as in first person, I'll be saying, I know that it looks like my priorities and focus is over here in this direction. And yes, my focus is over there, but you're always on my mind. You're always in the back of my mind. And I know that there's a lot of potential and promise in our connection. And I see marriage with you. I see a future with you. And I feel like we have a really, really solid foundation, and there's a lot of potential here in this connection. Actually, I'm not going to take that. I'm not really sure if it was meant to come out, but it'll come back out if it's meant to. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. But right now I need to be a little bit selfish, and I need to figure out what my value is, what I have to offer, not just you, but also the world. Yeah, I have work to do. It's like they sense that they have a deeper purpose or a deeper contribution to the world, but they're not quite sure what that is yet. And they lack, it's almost like they lack self-esteem, or they lack confidence or worth, because they feel like they need to figure out what their contribution to society really is. And it can't just be something like your everyday 9 to 5. Like, this person wants more. They want to build something of their own from the ground up, potentially, and they want to make sure that it's something that they enjoy, love, and value, so that it's sustainable in the long term. Yeah, like, I need to achieve something. I need to find my reason why, and I need to bring that full circle and implement it into my life, because I feel like my value equates to my achievements. This is coming from them, which is kind of sad. It definitely gives masculine energy. Yeah, they feel like they lack stability. 7 of Swords in reverse. So, like, I don't think that they're lying to you or actively trying to hide things from you, but I feel like it's almost, the Seven of Swords is kind of giving me energy of like, sort of like keeping it all within to not be a burden, trying to make sense of everything before I can bring it all to light and truly talk about it. I think that there's like a lot of themes here about they want to feel like they can be a provider, or they want to feel like they contribute to the stability, but they don't feel like they can do that right now. So they kind of feel inadequate or feel like they're just not good enough until they do find that or build that stability and build something of value. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of how they're thinking and feeling about you in this reality-based level. So not like a higher self perspective. Like this is literally what's going through their mind, is like so much potential, but what can I offer? What can I give? I don't know my place in the world. I've got healing to do. I've got so much to figure out. Like what could anybody possibly see in me? So they have like self-deprecating thoughts in a way, but they are trying to kind of like overcome all of this and integrate their wisdom, and they are trying to, like, they are looking ahead and they're trying to plan and strategize ways to get into the position where they do feel like they have something to offer. So it's not like it's all just words. They are actively trying to work on the problem or the challenges that they're facing. There could be like, they could sometimes deal with like a resurfacing of pain, like pain that comes back around, and when they are feeling, you know, off balance or they're feeling a bit rattled, I think that they find it difficult to talk, and they kind of like retreat and stay silent instead of just being like, I'm going through a bit of a tough time. Okay, one more good one, and then we're going to look at their plans and their intentions moving forward. Alright, so the person on group 2's mind, what are their plans and intentions moving forward? Wow. So we have the King of Earth and the Eight of Water. That makes a lot of sense. So we have the King of Pentacles, Eight of Water. So this is someone who is being logic, methodical, strategic, and very mature about what they're doing, and being very intentional about what they do next. And this involves searching for that meaning, searching for that fulfillment, empowering themselves, and doing that, you know, self-discovery that they need to do. I think that this person is pretty harsh on the way they see themselves, because if they're coming through as the King of Earth, they are very wise, mature, and it's not like they're like, you know, broke or not doing well, but I think that they just lack meaning and purpose, and they feel like they're missing something because of that. So maybe they're kind of waking up to the fact that what they do, they don't even enjoy it, and they're just like working their lives away, and they're like, there's got to be more to life than this, you know. But they are actively searching for what they feel like they're missing. Whoa, 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 that was explosive. Let's try that again. Alright. Plans and intentions moving forward. I'm also viewing that as like they want to be prosperous, generous and successful, but they want to be getting those things from something that is meaningful, you know. Like they want to feel like there's a reason behind what they do. Then we have the Empress. So I am viewing this as like that, the feminine energy, which is kind of coming across as you, the viewer. So it does feel like they want to go on this journey, but they do see you at the finish line. So I think that this is like saying like, once I've been on that journey, you know, I do want to maybe they want to have children with you, commit to you, grow your family, like wherever you're at, it's like wanting to treat you the way that you deserve, wanting to like procreate, wanting to take action, wanting to treat you like the Empress you are. But it feels like for whatever reason right now that feels difficult. There's too many imbalances in their life. They're stressed, overworked, drained, but it's like that opportunity is always in the back of their mind. So they definitely want to they want to be with you. They see a future with you. And it's like they're actively working towards that, but not just for you, but for themselves as well. Like it's a very mature energy. It's like, I think it's admirable because although they have you in their mind as well, it's not like they're doing it for you. Like this is something that they're doing for them, but you're still a part of their vision, you know? Like I think it's quite an admirable reading, to be quite fair. But yeah, I do feel like their plans are basically to build and grow their own sense of purpose in the world, maybe build a career or a project, something that really means a lot to them. They want to end this cycle of feeling like stressed and imbalanced and overworked and drained, and they want to have a new exciting beginning and do something that they love, so that it doesn't feel like they're working every day. So it feels like they don't have a lot of energy to give you because they're really trying to just sort of create a life that gives them energy instead of just constantly takes their energy. All right, so I'll go over the zodiac signs that are coming up in this reading. So we have some fixed sign energy: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. We have some Virgo, we have Sagittarius, we have Libra, we have Capricorn. So we have all the earth signs: Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Aquarius, Leo, Sagittarius, Scorpio and Libra. And they could be sun, moon or rising signs, keep that in mind. But now we're going to finish with your final little card, which is a message from their higher self or potentially your higher self, either way. Just a little bit of advice for you moving forward. Your card is Sexual Union. It says, honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul. for there you will find true bliss. So if you are with this person, you're still in communication, but you're just sort of here to find out what exactly is going on in their head because they're not saying too much. Honoring that sexual union could bring that closeness and join your energies and, bring you into that place of oneness and that bliss that you can access. And that could help the connection sort of stay, I guess, connected, even though their mind is in other places, because it's not like they're out playing up or disrespecting you. They are genuinely trying to find like purpose and meaning in their life and sort of grow their self-esteem and the way that they see themselves as a result. If you're not with this person and you can't actually do that with each other, this is just about like honoring the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, and that could be like a healing experience on an energetic level that kind of brings you together and connects the two of you, and you can kind of access those feelings, which might help bring you closer to each other in reality. But yeah, just honoring the place where you are one eternal soul instead of two separate beings can help you through this period of like distance, is kind of how I'm reading that. So that's what I have for you today, group 2. Don't forget to like the reading if it's been helpful for you, just to help the channel and help me keep posting. But until next time, guys, stay safe, sending love, light, and everything bright. Bye. Hi group 3, welcome to your reading where we are looking at the person on your mind. So we're doing a little bit of a check-in. This is definitely a more love-related check-in here. So just in case you hear about a friend or something, just thought I'd let you know that. This is the card that you were drawn to if you've chosen group 3. And at the moment, we're just going to leave it over here and we're going to look at that one at the very end. That is the message from your person's higher self. These ones we're not going to go into just yet, but we are going to start with these 3 here, and this is to determine your person's current energy. So using the 3 cards, I'll hopefully be able to build a bit of a picture. So first of all, we have Alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone. So maybe we have some Harry Potter fans in here. But either way, we have that card there, which it also says Infinity, Destiny, and Magic. We have a number 3 with Partnerships and Alliances. And we have the 2 of Roses in reversed, which is Winged Messengers. Okay. So, interesting. This feels a lot like somebody who has basically gone through an awakening, or they have been growing a lot. Alchemy makes me think of like like evolution, transforming something into like gold, like making something better. So I feel like this person's being sort of the alchemist with their own being and their own life, like really trying to transform. It feels like they're with Infinity, Destiny, and Magic. This definitely feels like someone who's in touch with their spiritual side. Quite aware of how infinite their soul is. Someone who maybe works with energy, or they sort of believe in magic, so to speak, like they believe in the spiritual side. They have spiritual beliefs. They are trying to grow and evolve as a person as well as a spiritual being. And I feel like I said, they're kind of in this process of like transforming their life. And then as we move forward, we see partnerships and alliances. And obviously this is about partnerships and relationships of all kinds. And it feels like they are really focused on aligning with the right people and kind of leaving the wrong people behind. So This card over here in the reverse position can signal that it's almost like knowing when it's time to cut your losses and just leave something or someone behind, because it is what it is, and they're not willing to change, or the situation's never going to change. And it's about sort of like knowing when to just like call it quits and move on for your own well-being. So it feels like they're really they're transforming, and maybe not everyone around them is transforming, and therefore they're having to, I guess, take that leap and start to leave people behind that are blocking or obstructing their growth. And they are definitely really trying to align with people who are more of an alliance or more of an equal partnership, as people that are going to support their growth and their transformation, people who don't try to keep them stuck. And maybe that's where you come into this reading, is that maybe you're someone that benefits their transformation. You don't keep them stuck or block them in any way. In fact, you support them. And so if there was anybody in their life that didn't approve, or that was in their ear, or I guess, just like against your connection with them for some reason, it feels like they could be deciding like enough is enough. If you're not going to support me, then it might be time to sort of leave the relationship behind, whatever that relationship is. Definitely focused on transforming their life for the better and aligning with the right people. That is literally their energy at the moment. I kept saying focus, but that's their energy at the moment, is like basically it's like whatever's not growing with me, I'm leaving behind. That sort of energy. I think that this is someone who, like this card here is really making me think of like the transcendental, I think I'm saying that right. Like someone who's very otherworldly, like either they're like clairvoyant and they have visions and they see visions and they see things, or they can recall like past lives, or they've had a vision for the future or something like that. Or I don't know if they like dabble in psychedelics or something and they sort of experience that other world in that way, but it feels like they've seen something or they know something to be true, and now it's just a case of leaving behind whatever doesn't support that vision. Alright, so I'm going to move into these cards now, which is their focus priority. So we have resistance, struggle, polarity with opposition. We have versatility, flexibility, adaptability with mutable. We have culmination, release, illumination with the full moon. Metamorphosis, death, rebirth with the 8th house. And communication, transportation, local community with the 3rd house. So yeah, a lot of cards can definitely tie into what we've been talking about, like noticing what's opposing their vision and resisting against that vision, instead of being adaptable and flexible and being willing to kind of support you regardless of what direction you're moving in. Releasing what's not supporting you, because you're going to have that illumination or that epiphany, that realization, like these people are not supporting me, it needs to be released. And that's where the death and rebirth kind of comes in, and metamorphosis, because this person is really concentrated on evolving, evolution, alchemy and things like that. And then over here with local community, I think that their local community is under scrutiny almost, and they're really assessing who is genuinely supportive of them and their choices, and who's only supportive when it benefits them, and really having to assess those relationships. Yes, in a nutshell, just like releasing whatever's not supporting them and their vision, positively transforming their life. And I can't help but feel like they're a very spiritual person, whether that's because they've had their own awakening and they're very gifted. But yeah, they're really trying to align with the right people. I think they have an understanding that, a really good and aligned community can be very valuable in terms of your spiritual well-being. And that's what they're really focused on building, is those meaningful partnerships and alliances. Alright, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to go into what they're thinking and feeling about you. Excuse me. And we're going to try and keep this to like a 3D level. So reality based, not based on their higher self, because sometimes that can leave you focusing on potential rather than reality. So I'm going to aim to do this on a 3D level, or basically like based in this realm, what are they thinking and feeling about you? So person on group 3's mind, in this realm, what are they thinking and feeling about group 3? So we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse position. The Nine of Pentacles. Still need a bit more before I can start reading this energy. Nine of Swords reverse, Nine of Pentacles. They're intimidated. They're intimidated by your beauty, your stability, and your independence. Or if it's not beauty because you're a male, then we could say your looks. But it looks like you're quite a catch, and it's for some reason they're intimidated to reach out. Because I'm viewing this as like, because they're facing you, they're coming right at you, and it's like viewing you in this really high regard and feeling really intimidated to approach you or to say something or to reach out. So I don't know if you're already with this person and you're having an argument, or if you've connected with this person in the past, because it feels like there's pain over what could have been, what could have, should have, would have been. Like there's pain about that. Or like pain about an ending, or pain about a separation. Or actually it could even be like pain about someone in the family, like not approving, not accepting. Ten of Pentacles that can be like family, and then in reverse it could be like, you know, someone's not on board and there's pain about that, if we relate it to there. But otherwise I feel like, yeah, if this is someone you've connected with in the past, it's like someone in the family / community seem to make this really difficult, and there's a lot of pain about that. And maybe that's why there's some like fear and intimidation about approaching you now. It could also be like a little bit of a lack of clarity, because you know, they have like a bit of a fear that you're going to shut them down and be very cold towards them. Yeah, because like the Queen of Swords in reverse, I would view that as someone just like shutting someone down. Two of Wands in reverse. So the more that we get into this reading, the more it looks like something came between the two of you in the past. And this person's very hesitant to reach out because they feel like you have gone through this glow up, and they can acknowledge that there's some pain about the missed potential in the past. They do feel like you could potentially shut them down, and they kind of feel like you'd have every right. They feel like you could potentially turn around and say, we don't have a future. And they do have a bit of fear about where that will leave them in terms of how they feel about themselves and stuff. So although they've got to a really good place, it's almost as if like I think that they are a little bit fearful that you're not going to accept them or listen to what they have to say or let them back in. Interesting. We have the Seven of Wands as well. Like, I think they feel like it is a bit of a challenge that they'll have to face to kind of come back into your life or to make things right, but it feels like they do want to fight for it, and they're just kind of like hoping that you'll give them that chance, is what that seems like. But I guess we'll get a little bit more clarity here because we're going to move into their plans and their intentions going forwards. So yeah, I just can't help but feel like you guys have come together in the past and someone or something got in between you. It didn't work out. Both of you have changed. This person's still in a process of changing, but I feel like you're both quite spiritual, but they do feel a bit intimidated to approach you because they know that they either, you know, hurt you or that there's a lot of pain about what happened in the past, and they do feel like you could potentially shut them down and say we don't have a future, and they genuinely feel worried about you know, how they'll think and feel about themselves if that was to happen. So they definitely have some fears about this situation and whether you're going to let them in. So let's see their plans and intentions going forward. The person on group 3's mind, plans and intentions going forward. We have the 4 of Water, distraction, self-absorption, discontentment. He looks very sort of contemplative. He also looks like he's kind of worrying about all the negatives instead of focusing on the huge positive that could, like focusing on everything that could go wrong instead of focusing on, but what if it all goes right? So they're going to kind of like, it's almost like they're going to wallow on that for a little while, but then I feel like they're going to finally see and focus on the potential, the opportunity, how abundant it could be if it does go well, you know, them reaching out to you. We then have the 2 of Air. So it feels like they're going to be a little bit, they're kind of going to go back and forth for a bit, I think, between like, what if it goes wrong, but what if it goes right? How amazing will it be? Yeah, but then what if it doesn't go right? But then what if it does? What if it doesn't? And that's that kind of indecisiveness here where it's like they go back and forth before they make a decision. Seven of Air, awareness, caution, consequences. The Chariot and release. For some reason, I really want to read the 7 of Air from the book to get how the 7 of Air is actually interpreted in this deck, because it doesn't feel quite so generic like it would in like the Seven of Swords in this deck. It feels different. So I'm just going to quickly read. So the things that I'm most drawn to in this card, in the meaning, so first it's your guardian angels are attempting to point out to you that things may not be as they appear right now, and I feel like that is this person's guides are trying to show them, like, you know, you're seeing things from a perspective of doubt instead of looking at things through the lens of like faith and seeing things accurately. And then it says here, reevaluating the situation and making changes in your own behavior and how you react to those around you. So I also feel like this could be that that message of bringing awareness to who's not supportive or who's sort of like taking more than what they are offering this person in their life, like removing the things that are getting in the way of the victory. And it also says that peaceful solitude can bring many hidden treasures to light. So I feel like you know, they're going to try and get some alone time to really consider and reflect on the matter. You know, make careful choices, like it says here, making choices carefully, embracing the truth, things like that. So I feel like after some time of going back and forth, they will finally realize what they want, what they have to do to get it, and they're going to make a move. So the Chariot is like that decision to move and go for what they want and just release everything that's not supporting that vision. Release anything that's in the way of that transformation and granting themselves the freedom to do and go wherever they want to go, which apparently is towards you. I feel like they're struggling to, I'm struggling to kind of make sense of what's here. So I feel like they're kind of struggling to make sense of their own thoughts at the moment, and they're doing the best they can to filter out the harmful thoughts and filter out what's harming them in their reality as well, and what's not supporting their vision. I know I keep saying that, but it's like they're trying to filter out anything that's going to get in the way of the transformation. I do feel like they will eventually have clarity, but right now I feel like they're just struggling to kind of put it all into words, to make sense of it themselves. There's a lot to process here, but it's all happening naturally because of this like evolution that they're going through. So I think, yeah, it's kind of a pretty naturally occurring evolution. But yeah, so I'll talk about the zodiac signs that I can see on the table. So this could be you or this person, sun, moon, or rising signs. We have some Gemini, some Libra, some Virgo, some Taurus, some Cancer, some Scorpio. I think that's it. And the final card is the message from your person's higher self. So this is just meant to be like a little bit of advice or a little message from their higher self. Oh, you got the Twin Flame card. So for a lot of you, this could be a twin flame. That would make a lot of sense as to why they could be a little bit intimidated. To like sort of say anything, because you do have a bit of a history. Maybe you've been through, you know, your separation period and things like that. Often twin flames have to overcome a few things in order to come together. Maybe that's not the case for every single pair of twin flames, but sometimes there's some adversity to overcome, basically, for that connection to come together and to get the reward of that powerful connection. But then it also says here, your passion ignites. So this could just be like a little sort of indication to say that maybe this process is happening quite quickly, and maybe it's actually it's getting close, because this is just like an anticipation type of energy that I'm picking up from this card, as if it's like closer than you think. I'm trying to be abstract with what else I can pull through with this card, because it's a very simple, short message. Maybe it's like also a sign that like you feel each other when you are in those moments of passion. Like, I don't know if maybe when they're thinking of you, you kind of feel it, or you get like a passionate, sensual pull and you kind of feel them thinking about you, or vice versa. It could also be saying like, you know, their energies are getting sort of like climatic and bringing you together, like your passions or your energies are like drawing each other in, or they're like being a magnet to each other right now as well. But yeah, you know, otherwise it's just an extremely, extremely powerful soul connection, if not a twin flame. But that's where I'm going to leave this reading. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button to help support the channel and to help me keep coming back with readings. Until next time, guys, stay safe, sending love, light, and everything bright. Bye.